Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Jordan with PictureMonk.com, and I'm here to give you another tutorial, and it has to do with watermarking. Now, watermarking is a sort of taboo thing in some places. In some places, it's well established that you need to watermark your photos. I'm kind of on the fence. I don't believe in a huge watermark on your photos, but I do believe that if you have your signature or your logo anywhere on the photo that's it, as long as it's not intrusive, it should be okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and place my Picture Monk logo on this photo as a watermark. So how you do that is just bring your photo in Photoshop, and you go to File and Place Embedded. You want to make an embedded file if you want to keep your logo on there, because let's say you save the PSD file somewhere and the logo that you put in there, you move the file, and then the logo is going to break. So, or the image is going to break, and it's going to need to find that logo file again. So if you place an embedded file, it'll make the file, the PSD file, a little bit larger, but it will always keep the logo there. So I'm going to go to Picture Monk and logo, and I'll choose my little emblem here. And that'll just bring it in, and you can see we can size it just like any other picture. And I'm always going to just put mine at the bottom right here. And all you're doing is basically just scaling it down to however size you see fit. And let's see, that should be okay, right around there. Just hit enter, and that'll place it in there, so it's on its own separate layer. Now, as you can see, we have the color doesn't look good on here because we want to not make it stand out as much as possible. So we're gonna put a layer style on it, and all we do for that is just double click on that layer, and it'll bring up the layer styles dialog box. I'm going to change the color to white, like that. I'm also going to put a tiny drop shadow on it. Actually, the default looks pretty good, so I'm just going to keep the default there. Alright, so that looks a little better than the orange, but we want to make it stand out a little less. So how we're going to do that is we can either do it two ways. We can do an opacity and just bring it down to right around there. So it's still there, but not intrusive at all. Or we can do an overlay. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Actually, I need to change my layer style to Smart Object first. Let's do that first and let it render, and then we'll do overlay again. So you can see it kind of changes it up a bit. If we're going to do that, if we're going to do overlay, we could change it to black. That might help out a little bit. Change it to a Smart Object again, and do overlay. Alright, so I like to keep it white, I guess. We'll just keep it white. And then we'll just back down the opacity. That seems to work out better. For most photos, this works out better, and for most photos, this is what I do. So I'll keep it there. It's there. It's not. People can still take note of the photo, and it's not going to bother them at all. So, and also the background depends on how much opacity you need to give it. So I'm going to keep mine right there. So as you can see, that's kind of the easy way to do a logo watermark. Another thing you can do is do your signature down there, which I do on most of them. Just make sure your signature does not have a white background, so it's a PNG, it's a transparent background, and just do the same thing. Just pop it in there with the embedded linked, and it'll stay in there. So that's how you do a basic watermark in Photoshop. I appreciate you guys joining me, and we'll see you in the next video.